live so you can speak.
Hi everyone. We got MJ coming in a minute, but wait, just hold on for 1 minute.
He's on.
Hi MJ, just wait. I don't want to spoil this. I've really set this up. Your intro song. I hope you can hear it.
Yeah.
That was a fail. Hopefully it won't continue that way. So cool. So thank you for spending some time with us tonight. Obviously you're free and we're under semi restrictions up here.
So far.
Yep, you can hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. Your video's disappeared on my thing, but I can hear you.
Okay. All right, so you can see me now? No?
No.
You can see me? No?
Nope.
All right. No, can't see. All right, we might stop it and try it again.
Try again.
Speak.
Is that working?
Yeah, just ask people if
Hey, can everyone out there in the internet world hear me and see me? Here we go. MJ's coming back into the room. Let's see if we can get him on this wonderful Friday night.
Yes.
Oh, nice. We're back. Just a minor technical glitch, and you know, an analog man of my caliber just fixed it like that. Thanks, Salmon. There's my technical advisor in the background. So yes. So back to where we were. I just wanted to try and do a chat because being from Melbourne, you're not unaccustomed to being locked down multiple times. You know, for us here in Sydney, it's not a novelty, but it's kind of like a new thing again because we've had an amazing run of freedoms. So yeah, just thought I'd touch base again, but let me introduce you again for people that don't know you. MJ
Sure.
Forrest works down at Corpus in Melbourne. He's a good friend of mine, an inspiration. He's done a lot for tattooing. We met years ago, but we did a podcast, a True Life podcast. That's got to be, what, 2 years ago now?
2 years ago, yeah.
Have to be, easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I did notice, like we spoke together through lockdown quite regularly, and you know, you're one of the people that I admired because you did a lot of stuff. So what I'm hoping to gain from tonight is a bit of an insight into the stages of the four of them that you went through.
Right.
And then how the roller coaster went, how you stayed positive, creative, and sane. So maybe we can just chat about the first one, which was an Australia-wide phenomenon. We all kind of felt like we were in it together.
Yeah.
And then,
How long did the first one go for?
man, that's the crazy thing. Like looking back now, maybe 3 months, 6 weeks. In all honesty, I don't even know. It's ridiculous,
I
isn't it?
think the first one, it took me a little bit to sort of get momentum. And I think part of that was, you know, just such a huge shock to being in a routine, like get up, go to work, draw, tattoo, come home, repeat, like all day, every day. And then all of a sudden just having all this time on my hands, you know, you're staying up till 4 a.m. and then waking up at lunchtime, and your routine is just so out of whack. It took me a fair while to sort of be productive in any sense. I think to begin with, I treated it like a little bit of a holiday, a little bit of time off. And then I thought, I'm not too sure. We definitely didn't get like JobKeeper or whatever initially. So I'm like, I need to figure out something to get some money. I think I was doing some like little A5 paintings and then selling them. And it was probably the first time in about a year where I sat down and painted properly, because I never really enjoyed painting too much. I'd do stuff on the iPad that looked like it was painted, and it was easier and quicker and I could get more done, but painting stressed me out more than tattooing. So I think it was time just spent in my washing machine painting in the first
because you had quite the palatial setup, didn't you?
In the first 2 lockdowns, I had a mattress on the floor in a 1-bedroom apartment, a washing machine and a fridge, and that was it. it
Yeah.
was pretty,
And
pretty
I think
scarce.
from memory, some of your routines were the 7-Eleven run every day.
Every day, a $1 coffee every day, for
Yep.
pure geographical convenience. And now I've gained quite a liking for 7-Eleven coffee. Yeah.
Nice. An acquired
Yeah.
taste.
A very
Yeah.
acquired
It's
taste. I
funny,
I
like,
think I like the minimal human interaction required in getting one as well.
yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I know I was just chatting with Cole that I worked with the other day and was saying like the first one, there was a lot to do for, sign up to all of this MyGov app and get your JobKeeper
Yep.
or Seeker. So there were things to keep you busy for the first few weeks or whatever. And, but
Yep.
now this time around for us up here, it's like, well, I've kind of done what I had to do. I'm a bit bored now. So,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. And it just kind
yeah,
of like once the payments started coming in, it just sort of felt like free money, And I think at that point, a
yep,
lot of people, once that started coming in, felt like, well, I don't need to do anything now. Like I've got money coming in. For
yep,
some people, it was more money than they were earning anyway. For others, it was like a bit of a
yep,
pay cut. But I felt like a lot of people sort of stopped productivity once they were already just getting the money from the government, and then sort of, weren't doing pre-order merch, weren't doing commissions, all that sort of stuff, because they didn't feel like it was necessary at that point.
yep, yep. Yeah, you could
But
see,
I
yeah, that there was a flurry of it and then it dropped back a bit.
yeah, everyone got their hustle on to begin with, and then once the payments started coming through, some people stopped and some people kept going. And I think the people that kept going benefited when they got back to work because they maintained some kind
Yep,
of momentum throughout lockdown. And then other people that treated it like a holiday came back, and it was so much harder to get back into a groove.
yep. Yeah, I know up here when we came back, it was, I remember saying to the guys and girls at work, man, this is what tattooing in the 90s was like. It was like just non-stop. People are suddenly picking and choosing what they want to do again and all the rest of it. And, I
Yeah,
just sort of hope for us coming back this time again that it carries on like that.
yeah, definitely. And
So,
just from painting, I felt like my tattoos improved. And it's something that I'm
yep,
trying to do at the moment, trying to paint flash and not just do it on the iPad. There's nothing wrong with doing it on the iPad, but I felt a noticeable difference in my tattoos from having done that. So it's
yep,
something I feel like I need to maintain, to sort of, uh, yeah, just sharpen those skills.
yep, yep. How in the first time I know myself, like we did lots of things like everyone would do their daily, coffee run or walk the dog or the
Yeah,
kids or that sort of thing. And, it was quite amazing that the day would go so quickly. And even
yeah.
again, this time now, it's filling up pretty quick as well.
It's feeling pretty quick.
So
It's not too bad so far is it your second lockdown?
no, like for me, yeah, this first week for me has just been doing, little bits of handyman stuff at the shop. And then, next week, I look forward to just, creating and painting, which I didn't get too much of a chance to do on the first one. Um,
First one you were doing all
so
renos and stuff, weren't you?
yeah, just renos, like it gave me a good opportunity to do things that I didn't have to stay back late at the shop or go in early or weekends to do. So that was, it was actually beneficial in that sense. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, this time round, I hope to make up for lost time and paint and draw and catch up on everything that I should be doing as a functioning tattooer.
Well, you say that, but you guys had your exhibition in, was it November? And like you
Oh
painted
no, October.
um,
Yep.
October, yeah, and
Yeah.
you still did for someone that's like, I didn't paint much. You painted a million hunyas and
Yeah.
wave
True.
studies and
True.
what are the
True.
circles?
Oh, Enso circles.
Enzos, yeah, you did
Um,
so many of those. So if that's your idea of not painting much, that's fucked.
yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Time for you to turn the table on me. Uh, so, like, from where? How long were you guys free for before you had your second lockdown?
5 weeks.
Wow, okay. So you're just getting a taste of normality and then it was snapped shut again. Was
Yeah,
that
it
one
was
like easy-ish?
that that one was really good. Those 5 weeks were super busy. Me and the guys I work with, we were working late. Most nights we were working till like 9 or 10 o'clock. Some nights just because we knew it wasn't going to last.
Yep.
So we're like, let's make the most of it, work as late as we can. And then on the final night before going into lockdown number 2, I think we worked until midnight. We just sort of just partied and it had the vibes of like a busy flash day, but we've got appointments showing up at
Yep.
10 o'clock at night for a palm size tattoo and stuff. So it was really fun. Because we're just trying to make the most of it while it lasted and then straight back into lockdown number 2.
Yeah. Yeah. We this one we got the announcement. We could kind of see it coming. And you could just see like appointments being cancelled or rescheduled like, days ahead of it.
Yeah.
So like I think on the 24th, myself, Gummy and Dan Rhodes, we celebrated or commiserated the passing of Greg Ardron. So we had a
Yep.
few drinks for him and a bit of a night. And then
Mm-hmm.
Gummy showed me he just recently got a tattoo from Tony Cohen, TCB
Oh,
on his
really?
leg. So I was like, the next day I was like, oh, you know what? When we got the word, I was like, my afternoon cancelled. I'm going to go and see Tony and get tattooed. So I went down there at about 4 and said, oh, have you
Yep.
got time to tattoo me, mate? He's like, yeah, but let's go have a beer first. I went, all right. And then just didn't get the tattoo, but had quite a few beers with him, which was great. And then on the way back to the shop, bought a carton and a bottle of tequila and just started dishing it out to everyone, saying like,
Yep.
enjoy these last hours while we can. So yeah, same thing, like a somewhat of a festive atmosphere,
Yeah,
calm
absolutely.
before the
And I
boredom. Yeah,
think, yeah, and just sort of appreciate the freedom while you've got it for the next few hours before
yeah,
you go into lockdown.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, it was. I'm sure Melbourne was the same. Like all the pubs and everything were heaving, this time last Friday night up until midnight. Everyone trying to
Yep.
get their last fix.
Yeah,
And then, so
absolutely.
how long did your second one last for?
Fuck. Um,
Yeah,
like 6 months, something like that.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
a insane amount of time. It was and even that feels like a long time ago because we've had 2 more lockdowns since the second one. So yeah, it was easily half a year, I think.
yeah. Wow.
Just sitting by myself in an unfurnished apartment.
Yep, yep. Did you have an IKEA catalogue at least?
No, no, I do
No,
now.
gutted.
Yeah. The second one was, I felt like I still had
Hey,
that
Muzz.
momentum from
Yep,
that first
yep,
momentum from the first one. And like from the 5 weeks of work we had. So I felt like I was on a bit of a roll when it came to doing things. Like you and I did the Bob Wood book together.
yeah,
Um,
yep,
I was, just trying to do some painting. I think there was I did a big painting for an exhibition that was in Sydney as well. So it's just, I had a few projects on the go. So when I was feeling a bit
yep,
sort of unmotivated with one, I could at least attempt the other one. I was
yep,
like spinning plates in terms of
yep.
getting some shit done. But the second one was pretty good. For the most part, I felt productive, and then I'd just drop off for like a 2-3 week period and get
Yep.
absolutely nothing done.
Yep. In that time of absolutely nothing, were you what, drinking or just exercising or walking or Googling or daydreaming or Instagramming?
um, I think I think it was the second lockdown. I used to live across the road from a cemetery, and I'd go skating in the cemetery every day, and I
Oh,
ate shit very hard,
yep,
and went knee first, and I've got very bad knees. Went knee first into
yep,
the cement, so that kind of ended that for permanently. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I got a bit of drinking done.
yeah,
I got
nice.
some good drinking out of the way, but I sort of
Nice.
made it my mission um, to try and only drink cocktails for the most part because I had to make it. And if
Yep.
you're making your own drink, you're going to drink less of them.
Well, Depends how complicated
That,
it is. And I
look,
would say
that
a
was
cocktail's somewhat healthier.
the theory.
Yep.
That was the theory. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how accurate that is, but I felt like I'd earned it after I'd made it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I know, our first one, like my goal this time is to not drink. Like the
Yep.
first one, I stepped it up. I was like, oh, the old boy still got it, and just had fun and just
Yeah.
would wake up without even a hangover.
Yeah.
Um, my partner filmed me quite a few times drunk, annoying her, and in the morning I'd be like, oh, you're still a 16-year-old kid at heart, aren't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this time I'm gonna, do my best to be an adult. So we'll see. We'll see.
You can do
So
it. I believe in you.
yeah. So then after that sort of that second one, you then went into a third, and then like unbelievably a fourth. Like all of us here in the last week have been like commenting in the shop. You can see that other parts of the country are going to get locked down, and
Yep.
quite a few people are just going, please don't let Melbourne get locked down again. It'd be, yeah,
I
horrible.
really hope not.
Yeah.
I feel like the third and the fourth were actually the hardest, if
Yep.
anything. Definitely the most unproductive. I
Yep.
think also because they were kind of small lockdowns in comparison to the other ones. So with the other ones, you could sort of, feel sorry for yourself for a couple of days and then pick yourself up and,
Yep.
work on some projects. With these ones, it was like a 5-day lockdown. So you didn't have that time to sort of ramp the momentum up. And by the time you were feeling motivated again, it was time to go back to work.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot harder. And I think also with the last two lockdowns, I spent them with my girlfriend. So, I was just
Yep.
hanging out more so, had someone to talk to, had things to do or whatever that sort of
Nice.
took away from
Yep.
maybe painting or drawing or whatever. But it was a welcome distraction.
Yeah, change because sometimes as tattooers, our partners get somewhat neglected due to the workload or the hours or all the rest of it.
Yeah,
So
definitely. So it was good to do that, spend that time, and I moved into a new apartment and I got furniture. So I was just in the second lockdown, I got like new couches. So
wow.
if anything, I was just
Yep.
getting more and more comfortable and less
Yep.
productive.
Yep. How was the workload at the shop after the second? Did it continue on doing those late nights and the demand still there?
No, no, we found once like
Yep.
JobKeeper got cut, a lot of the work dried up as well. So after
Yep.
the
Yeah.
first one, in that sort of 5-week period where we're at work, a lot of people had just extra cash because a lot of people were back at
Yep.
work and still getting JobKeeper, JobSeeker, or whatever it was. So they had
Yep.
loads of like expendable cash. People were just blowing it on tattoos and not on things they needed
Yep.
really. And I
Yep.
feel like after the last two lockdowns, people are a bit more conservative because they don't know if we're going to go back into a third one, whether they should just save their money, or they might be in a similar position to us and not have been getting government assistance for the last 1-2 lockdowns. So I think
Yep.
everyone's saving their money a lot more down in Melbourne, which means less people getting tattooed.
Yeah. Yeah. You could. We felt it a little bit, but I don't think anywhere near as much. Obviously, because we've stayed open longer. But I know, yeah, just a couple of days coming up, you could see people are like rescheduling. I don't, maybe from the fear of the COVID, or maybe just a money thing as well. So
Yeah, well,
I
at
think,
the
yeah,
moment as
coming back,
well, sorry, at the moment, like we've got a lot of people that travel interstate to get tattooed as well. Loads of people from New South Wales and
yep,
Queensland that come down to get tattooed. So obviously they've had to cancel and postpone their appointments because now they're in lockdown.
yep,
So um,
yep,
yeah, I came back from New South Wales last weekend, and my first appointment back was also from New South Wales, and they were
yep,
in. I think they would have had to, get their COVID test and isolate. And I did as well, but I got my
yep,
COVID test back immediately, so I could still go to
yep,
work. But yeah,
yeah,
they
nice.
just weren't sure how long it would take, so they had to cancel their appointment.
Yeah, and that's the one. Like, friends of mine, Tim and Benji from the Gold Coast, they just flew into Darwin like a week
Yeah,
ago, and I think the next day they were there, they got locked down. But thankfully for those guys, it was only like a 3-dayer.
Yeah.
But up there, Darwin, that was the first time they'd been locked down, so they said it was kind of somewhat exciting for the locals in a weird way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
as you'd expect, like a massive line outside the bottle shop and all the rest of it. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
It'd be a
yeah,
novelty for them.
yeah. So I kind of, for here, I think if we stay open or we reopen sooner than later, I think we should hopefully bounce back like Melbourne did that second time,
Yeah.
and then roll from there. So, and the last one that must have obviously been the killer. Oh, sorry, for the
Yeah.
second and third, were you getting some sort of financial assistance?
Second one, we definitely were. I can't
Yep,
remember if we were for the third. I don't think so. I could be wrong.
yep,
I don't really
yep,
remember.
yep.
But the most recent one, we definitely didn't. It was like a 2 week lockdown. Um,
Yeah,
that one was hard. Even just 2 weeks off work made a
yep,
huge dent in the bank account.
yeah,
So
yep,
yeah, it's steady at the moment, but it's not as busy as we were.
yeah. Okay, yep. What do you think? What's the general mood like? Obviously, people are seeing on the news that what happened to Sydney and the rest of the state. Was there a bit of, fear or that it was going to come again?
I think, look, it's not the correct thing to feel, but when Sydney first went into lockdown, we're like, yes, yes,
Yeah,
eat shit.
there's some good
Um,
memes. Yep.
yeah, yeah. I think like as a city, as a state, we felt like when everyone went back to normal after the first lockdown, we definitely got like
Yep.
forgotten about. And like we talked
Yep.
to our friends in other states, and they just, you know, um, dismiss, what we were
Yep.
going through for most of a year.
For
So when
sure.
other places started going into lockdown, there was a little bit of like, fuck, like maybe you'll see like how shit it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but that mood went away really quick, and then we sympathized. But that was the initial
Yeah.
reaction.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
think
that's
I think
kind of human
now
nature.
everyone's sort of not ruling out another one because we've seen how easy it can be to just
Yep.
flare up like in such short
Yep.
periods of time. So I think,
Yep.
if another one gets announced, we'll all be pissed, but we'll
Yep.
get on with it because we've done it so many times before. We can do it again.
Well, you
Um,
guys are the reigning Australian champs.
yeah, 4 consecutive lockdowns. We've got this.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, but I know definitely as well. Like, you know, we've both got friends overseas as well that are doing it way harder than us. And, for us
Mm,
here in Sydney, quite regularly, you're just getting on with life as normal. It's a sunny day.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, cool. This is that. Someone's just bought this. Someone's got, going to get tattooed here or bought a new book or a new tattoo machine. You're like, oh, yes. You just forget that Melbourne
yeah, absolutely.
is locked down. Um,
And
so,
as
yeah,
soon as you're out of lockdown, you kind of forget how shit it was. Like
yeah, yep,
I can't even remember how long each lockdown went for, really.
yep,
Like it seems that was ages ago. Now we're just working and just focusing on trying to secure some cash in case you go into
yep,
another one. But yeah, you pretty quickly forget once you're out.
yeah. Yeah, there's definitely going to be no rent relief or, business help this time around, all that sort of stuff. So just a few basic tips for if you have any, or from other people's experience of staying positive.
Yeah, I think a huge part of staying positive is just one, realizing how shit other people have it elsewhere. And like it really
Yep,
annoyed me when we are going into it, and everyone was like going ape shit at Dan Andrews, our premier. And I don't know whether he handled
yep,
it well or badly or whatever, but when people were calling it a dictatorship and all that sort of stuff, it's like, man, like if that's your
yeah,
idea of a dictatorship, like you got to check yourself. You still have
yeah,
Netflix, you're still ordering Uber Eats, you're sitting at home in your
yep,
like in your
yep.
safe space, like
It,
you can tweet whatever
yeah,
the fuck you want. Like it's pretty sweet. As far as lockdowns go, even in a pretty dire situation, it ain't that bad. Um, that was
yeah,
frustrating. So I think, yeah, just having that sort of that perspective that, other people outside of COVID are probably doing it way shitter than you. That helps.
Yep.
And then I think also just having something to work on as well, like waking up and being like, right, I'm going to keep working on this. And normally having like a project that you wouldn't have time to do outside of this weird situation was
Yep.
such a beneficial thing. Like when we made the Bob Wood book, it was like, cool,
Yeah.
I'm going to wake up, I'm going to work on this for a few hours or whatever, and then I'm going to
Yep.
do this, or like painting, or whether you're trying to do commissions, or and I think it extends
some sort of
not
like,
just to
a basic
Yeah,
structure for the day.
yeah, absolutely. Just trying to find a bit of a routine, find a bit of a groove. And like even outside of tattooing, like other people, like whether they make music or have a hobby or just learn a new skill
Yep.
and just dedicate, right, in this lockdown, I'm going to learn to do this or whatever, whether it's
Yep.
going on Skillshare and doing classes or anything
Yep.
to basically improve your situation for when you do return to work, and just
Yep.
using that time productively in whatever it is, whether it's fucking gardening, whatever, like
Yep.
getting the stuff
Yeah.
done that you always complain you don't have time to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as well, like you said, like learning some new skills, like, definitely when we came back, people were doing, FaceTime consultations, this sort of thing. Some people, in general would turn their nose up at it. I've seen some studios move to like online direct booking systems. And you
Yeah.
talk to some people and they're like, fuck that. And other people are like, well, if I got no work, that's what I've got to do. And of course, that's what you have to do. So I kind of think the landscape's going to change quite quickly. They talk about
Yeah.
we've advanced 7 years in digitalization. Tattooing is going to be a part of that as well. And I also think like, the customer experience is another thing. But we just got to adapt. Like this time around, I would say pretty much everyone in the shop, all off their own initiative, contacted all of their customers and let them know what the situation was. And, I think we've learned to be more proactive rather than just go, I'll do it in the next couple of days.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I think we realize that, we are a luxury. And, when times are tough, like, all the luxurious things get dropped off. So
Yeah,
gotta,
no one needs a tattoo.
no,
I'll be the
no.
first to admit tattoos are bullshit luxury items.
Yep.
I'm grateful for
Yep.
everyone that gets them, but I'm
Yep.
painfully aware that no one needs them.
Yes.
So the fact that people do continue to get them, I'm so grateful. In these weird times. But yeah, you just sort of, I think people have had to adapt or die really. And when you're not tattooing, you need to find other ways to, make money or maintain relevance or whatever it is.
Yep.
So people that have sort of branched out and done stuff that they wouldn't normally do are definitely the ones that are reaping the rewards right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can, and not just in the tattoo industry, but a lot of things that people have, maybe got a reputation and are quite busy. If people are coming from overseas or interstate, probably felt it harder. So you just have to, I think a local clientele base has become a lot more important to some people. So yeah, it's just like you said, just adapt or die and roll from there. So yeah, we'll see. So on the creative side, I know it's all part of under the one umbrella.
Yep.
Obviously you had the projects. From those projects, did they springboard any other sort of creative outlets for you, or was it a bit of a roller coaster?
I think.
I'm sorry, I'm getting asked a question here.
Ooh.
Give me a minute. I'm sorry, I'm getting told off by the boss. We've got so Martin, who gets tattooed by Som here in Sydney, says, I agree. I cannot live without completing my tattoos, but that's just me. I hear you, Martin, and you're like a guiding light, mate. You're one of the rare people that I'm going to come across in my career that started out with nothing, and when you came to Little Tokyo, and you're going to have an amazing collection when it's done. So I've got another one here. So Mr. Dingo 90 said, if the AIDS epidemic didn't kill tattooing, coronavirus won't. Mad dogs. So yeah, it won't.
Absolutely.
In the 80s, like a lot of the old guys talk about, there was like a huge drop in tattooing then. I'm old enough to remember the Grim Reaper and the bowling ball ad, and it was
Oh, I've seen
crazy.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like, for its day, like cutting edge. Like, whoever got that budget, state government awarded that budget to, they did well for that advertisement. But yeah, tattooing will always survive, but I just think now you have to be way more adaptive, and that
Well,
is
even with the AIDS epidemic, that saw the introduction of gloves and
100%.
so many different
Yep,
things. So the industry changed as a result of that, and the industry is
yep,
going to change again because of COVID. Whether it's
yep,
signing in, whether it's wearing masks or anything, like it could see the advancement of so many different personal protective equipment sort of things within tattooing or processes or
yep,
even booking your tattoo. Like it's going to change tattooing and probably for the better,
yep,
just like the AIDS epidemic, brought in all these much needed things. This is just going to be
yep.
the light bulb
Yeah,
moment that we need to bring in other things.
for sure, for sure. And they after all of that, then there was the other change in the 90s when custom tattooing started to become a thing. You've got MTV, you've got, bands covered in tattoos, sports people started getting it, armbands, yuppies were getting tattooed, this sort of thing. So now, I think we're in that time again where a lot of old school shops just didn't want to adapt to that new clientele base. They would rely from the flash on the wall. I think
Hmm.
now, if artists don't want to adapt to a FaceTime consultation or a potential online booking with never even meeting the artist, this is the same sort of thing is going to happen. And if you're more tech savvy and, you've just got to change your hats and put on, your game face if you don't want to do it. Just be professional, wear a service industry, and do your thing. And you'll adapt to it quite quickly and it won't be the punish that you think it is right now.
Even in the short time that I've been tattooing, like when I started, everything was Facebook. You'd have a Facebook page for your tattoos, you'd post everything on there, and then Instagram came, and a lot of people didn't want to try the new
Yeah.
social media platform and got left
Yep.
behind in a way because that's where everyone's portfolios went to. Everything was online on Instagram, and that
Yep.
would be where people would go to first to find a tattooer. And then
Yep.
the people that didn't carry over, it's the same. And then it's weird to say, but TikTok's going to be that next thing. All the
Oh,
people that
mate.
are like whinging, complaining about TikTok, that's where
Yep.
it's the most viewers for
Yep.
content. So how you
What I
use that
think,
platform is one thing, but
yeah, for sure. Like I think, like my old mate Lal Hardy that he said to me one thing about tattooing, it's a double-edged sword. He said, because, you know, your customer base stays the same, generally the age bracket, but you get
hmm,
older. So with that, you have to adapt to the younger generation's current platforms that whatever they're on. And I can see that. I
absolutely.
come from an era, I didn't get my first mobile phone until I was 27. You know, um, then you've got, I remember when the internet first came around, and to where it is now, it's crazy. And that little bracket that I've seen from now to the time I die is going to be maybe 25% of what it's going to become. It's
Yeah,
who knows what it's going to be. So, but yeah, you just got to adapt. And hey, as artists, no one begged us to become tattoo artists. So it can be a comfortable job sometimes if you start to achieve some sort of notoriety or whatever, but that can
yeah,
soon slip away through, laziness. So, just got to
absolutely.
be in it to win it. So,
Yeah,
all right.
everyone that dismisses the next big thing, you know, they come around eventually, and they'll come around really late to the party. But it's the shift,
Yep.
MySpace to Facebook to Instagram to
Yeah.
TikTok,
Yep.
whatever, and then it'll change after that, and it'll keep changing. It's just the nature of things.
Yeah, like last time as well, our first lockdown, we did like a live DJ stream from the shop one night. So
Yeah,
this time around, we're we've now got a Japanese barber that works for us, Joji, and he's an amazing amazing scar dancer. So next week we're lining up. We've got a film crew coming in, obviously COVID safe, of course, and they're going to be. We're filming some content for our Little Tokyo TikTok page. So we could even have a live stream of DJ Haru, another Japanese guy, banging out some hits Sunday week, like sunset sessions. So, but it's just fun. And, you know,
absolutely.
We're in the age of voyeurism. People love to watch. So,
and you know, also it's like,
give them something to watch.
It's weird that social media has become such a huge part of tattooing, because if you're not getting eyeballs, no one's seeing your work. The less people seeing your work, less people that are potentially going to book in. So it's like this weird thing where it's part of your job, which is kind of strange, but you need to maintain that sort of pole position so that people are seeing you to book in with you. And I feel like when everyone started tattooing, that was the furthest thing from their mind as like part of the job. You know, you think you're going to draw, do tattoos, like whatever. You don't think that social media is such an integral part of tattooing, like in 2021, but it kind of is. So even like being in lockdown, when you don't necessarily have things to post, you don't have tattoos to post, or you might not have paintings to post, there's that sort of like conundrum of how do I sort of still not fall out of the algorithm and all that sort of shit, so that when things do return, I haven't just been wiped off the face of the earth, you know. Things like that. Prime example of maintaining relevance, keeping current, and you know, people will think, I want to get a tattoo, Little Tokyo, you know, because they've been, even during lockdown, they've still been consuming Little Tokyo content. Yep.
Just on that, like, one of the biggest producers of content, this is just in the comments section I can see here, is Jimmy May, and he's just commented, got to have a strong selfie game, mate. Sir, that you do.
100%.
Like, if you know, if I had hair and makeup following me around 24/7, I'd look as good as him as well. So I'm just going to go through a few other comments here. S_sad yes has asked, when are you guys open? We're still waiting. We've got some hands up. We've got quality professional from an old mate of mine, Chris Barnes. We're getting some thumbs up, 100%ers. Martin's, who gets tattooed by Summers, just written again. The artist of Little Tokyo was so quick to update me on the day of the lockdown. Som and Jiho told me what they would do next, check their schedules and move my sessions by that Monday. So yeah, you can see, you know, people are adapting quite quickly, which is good. So yeah, we've got some good stuff. And then we've got here, Eye the Needle, same things happening in Scotland. Sorry to hear, guys. And I've got my old mate Muzz, Reza. So yeah, so with that as well, we got a few questions. So some of them are, I've got one, it's more of a statement from Jimmy Memento Tattoo. He's written here, I hope someone mentions the blatant assimilation via fear-mongering and the government taking the piss out of us all. I think, you know, you can take that as you want. And, you know, for me, this time around, I've not watched the news much, because you can see, if you do, you can see now more than ever, like, the amount of shit talking that goes on. It's just a political point scoring match. And yeah, sad but true. Another one we've got from Mr. Dingo 90, two good places to buy, swap and sell Australian tattoo history. So on the page I contacted him, said obviously Australian Tattoo History would love the first option to buy things. So hit us up.
Tattoo History.
Yeah. But also, you know, eBay, Gumtree, this sort of thing, Facebook Marketplace, you know, people are selling things, that sort of thing is a good option. He's also written here again, and I'll go first on this one. He's gone, who are your top 3 up-and-coming tat lords we should keep an eye on for in your respective states? Now, my one was, where did I put it? Oh, let me try and find it. Okay, so, all right, my one was, so at Thanks Tattoo, you've got Phoebe J. Steele. She's apprenticing under Gummy. She's a lovely lady. She's an amazing painter. Like, blew me away what she's doing. I'll find her Instagram page. So she's one that's coming into the industry, and we had a paint night over at Thanks's a couple of weeks ago. And mate, the stuff she's doing is phenomenal. She also showed me the first tattoo she did, and I'm like, wow, under Gummy and the rest of the guys there tutelage, she's going to be one that rises through the ranks really quickly. Like, she's painting like an old soul already, and
Yep.
it's going to be really nice to see her thing. So this is her, Phoebe, PHOEBE.J.Steele. Then my second pick is, it's kind of cheating. It's two young guys, two twins, Kevin and Jason. Kevin goes under Killer Kev, and he works out at Para Inc. I was lucky enough to do a collab back piece on him maybe 3 or 4 years ago with a Korean artist called Haywall. And I think he wasn't even tattooing then, but his brother, Jason, is out of his apprenticeship, and he works at Monarch Tattoo Supplies in the city. An amazing artist, and just the dedication that I see from the two of them, they've got like massive futures ahead. They've both got really cool tattoo collections already. Kevin comes over every Monday to the shop and just hangs out, picks our brains on painting, on drawing, has like, his like little workbook, takes down notes, like takes it super seriously. So he's going to have a big future ahead as well. And then my third one is a guy called Charles M. Walsh, who works for Joe Kins at Whistler Street Tattoo. I'm pretty sure Charles is 18, but he's been working the counter at Whistler Street since he was 15 or 16. And again,
That's awesome.
painting like an old soul and killing it in the trad style. So they're just three people that I know in my outer circle of friends, and that's without looking. But how tattooing is so big now, there's going to be so many other young people out there killing it just as much, in New South Wales, that have big futures. So you can see people that, like, we were all the same when we got hooked by the tattoo bug when we were younger. It turns into a lifelong obsession. And me, I'm fortunate because I'm further down the road. And through the tattoo history thing, you can see people that maybe lose a bit of the love, and they kind of, drop off as well. So, it's, so we got some good people, those three people. I'm going to end up putting this on YouTube, and I'll end up putting on all these links in the link section, their Instagram handles. So now who's your top three from Melbourne?
I've definitely got two, and they've both just started apprenticing. So they haven't started tattooing yet, but they've just started apprenticing.
Amazing.
And now is the time to get in on the ground level with those guys. The first one would be Jacob Craddock, who's started apprenticing at Chapel Tattoo a couple of months ago down in Windsor. And I've been following him for ages. Before he started apprenticing, I'm pretty sure he was just painting loads of traditional flash, and it's epic. He uploaded a painting the other day, and I messaged him for fucking tips.
Wow.
Yeah, really cool. So he's J Craddock Flash on Instagram. He's unreal and just a really lovely dude. And then another girl who I've tattooed for the last couple of years. She's got a killer collection from like Rob Mopar as well. Her name's Ronnie Bruce. It's like Ronnie Bruce with 2 underscores. Okay. And she's just been painting flash for years and saying that she wants to tattoo, and, asking me for advice and stuff. I'm like, like, you need to do some lettering. Like, you need to teach yourself like script and lettering, because it's like the ultimate moneymaker for walk-ins. Like, you need to be able to do that. And like, so often, like, you get people asking for apprenticeships or asking for advice and all that sort of stuff, and you give it to them, and you sort of like pay attention, and they don't do any of it. It's too much hard work. And Ronnie's done everything, and like, been waiting for the right time, waiting for the right person, all that sort of stuff. So she started apprenticing at Golden Heart Tattoo down here in Melbourne under Scott Moss. So yeah, both those two for sure. Like, as soon as they start tattooing, I'm not sure when they'll start like doing tattoos, but follow them now, and as soon as they start, go get an apprentice rate tattoo off them. A third one, she's been tattooing for a while now. She's not technically an apprentice anymore. She's Rob Mopar's
Yep.
Former apprentice at Sacred Monkey.
Yep.
Sarah Etheridge.
Yep.
Yeah, she's been tattooing for a few years now, but any opportunity I get to sing her praises, I will. Unreal. She was another one of those people who before apprenticing, just painted her ass off and just has an insane work ethic. And I tattoo a lot of the people that she tattoos as well, so I'm constantly seeing them healed, and they're fucking unreal. So definitely Sarah Etheridge. It's SKE Tattoo on Instagram, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
You can find it.
I'll get them off you as well, and I'll put them in. Hey, just out of curiosity, because you've done a few more of these things than me, how long do these Instagram lives go for?
An hour, I think.
Hour? Okay, cool. So we've got about 14 minutes left. So what I might do in that, we've got quite a few comments coming through, but I just want to go through the rest of the ones that people, messaged before. So we've got, this is from Gary. This could be both. It's actually one of my customers. Like, I'd love to know how after the first and second lockdown, if it got any easier to cope and manage the situation, or did it just progressively feel harder? I think, you probably answered those ones. The second one was so. The third and fourth were the killer ones.
Yeah, even though they were the shortest ones, I felt like they were the hardest. You feel a bit defeated, you feel a bit beat down, and then when you're not getting government assistance by that time when it had been axed, it made it a lot more difficult. And just being a shorter lockdown, it was harder to get into a routine.
Yeah, I know this time, like everyone's got their different, circles. So I know for me, a lot of other shop owners, we all text each other, and they're like, oh, it's going to be the survival of the fittest this time, all this sort of stuff. Others are like, oh, it's going to be fine, so, but there's that fear. Like, I know, with no assistance, that's when it really sucks. And, you sort of roll from there. Then I've got some questions by my old mate, Adam Kraft in New Zealand. He's like, and I'll answer these first. He's gone, in the first one, how much art did you produce? Like, I completed my biggest ever art project, which is Little Tokyo. So, I did all my interior design stuff and painted some walls and put paintings up, this, that, and the other. And I don't want to undertake anything like that ever again, in all honesty. So that was years in the making when I got there. But I also well, I can't anymore. I'm maxed out, mate. Falls into the wall. Hopefully, I don't have to shrink after this. So it was. But I was like you mentioned, like we had a Little Tokyo art show, so we all worked towards that throughout the lockdown period. How much booze did you consume? For me, it was a lot. Like, I would always say I've been a pretty moderate drinker. And from, being a little bogan in Melbourne and then a backpacker over in London for a long time, I embraced that culture. And I sort of had my second wind. So, but this time round, I think I just got to a point where I remember saying to Sam and my partner, like, I think I'm just kind of getting bored with this. And then I think in 2-day period, that's it. And I think this year I've maybe only drunk about 4 or 5 times. So, I want to maintain through this lockdown that I try and steer clear of it. And then his last one is, how many kids and dog walks did you do? So we got like 2 cats and a dog. They're our children. So we walk Sunny every day. It was great. I live here in Botany. So we've got the Port of Botany. There's a beach out the back of it, or we'd go to, Maroubra Beach. So we were very fortunate to be able to get out and about and see the water and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think you answered, but we'll just quickly go through it again. So how much art did you produce? And overall, what percentage would you rate yourself on an overall 4 out of 4 lockdowns?
In terms of
25%.
Art output?
Yeah.
Dude, probably 50%. Probably 50%, but I wish it was more. I felt like by the time I was gathering speed and some momentum, lockdown would end. I wish was a bit more constant. Wish I had a bit
Yeah.
more of a routine when it came to doing it. But there's always next lockdown.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna modify this question. Instead of how much booze did you consume, what
Mhm.
was your favorite cocktail that you made throughout that period, those periods?
Oh, man, it's got to be the Paloma. It's like
Oh,
grapefruit soda, tequila, and lime.
nice,
I
nice.
don't salt the
Okay.
rim. I don't fuck with salt on the rim.
No, fair enough.
No,
But
disgusting.
was that just so it wasn't nothing to do with economics?
I just don't want to
No.
drink something that tastes like the ocean.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's no
Fair
point.
enough. Cool. And I know the last one, I don't think you have kids or you don't know if you have any. And
Not
I'm
that I
pretty
know
sure
of,
you
no.
don't have and you don't have a dog either. So you couldn't do that one.
No.
Then we have another one, a questions for both of us by XANT23X. A question for both MJ and Rhys. What do you feel the Australian Tattoo Convention scene could improve, etc.? As I feel a lot of artists talk so highly about the New Zealand conventions. So for me, I'll go first. Like I went to the Wellington convention, the first ever one, and it was amazing. Like, and I'd heard so many good things about the New Zealand one that's normally at the end of every year. That's coming up with, I think it's a 10-year anniversary this year. But you know, Kiwis in general,
Mhm.
from such a high populated tattoo culture, they just love it and they just embrace it. I went there with one booking on the first day, and by the end of the first day, I was booked out with for the following 2 days. I worked it with Todd Bailey from 13 Feet. And I think he turned up with no appointments, and by the same thing, the end of that first day, the whole weekend was booked out. So there's that one. For here in Australia, it's a hard one. Like as a business owner, I can see both sides of the coin, and I know they've just cancelled the Southeast Queensland one, and obviously the Australian Tattoo Expos have been cancelled, and now the Brisbane one's on the horizon. Like I'm booked in to do that one, and I do hope it goes ahead. Um, so as far as improving, I think we just need to be able to be open. Um, and I know Todd Bailey was on the cusp of doing his first convention. You've got Sonny's one, the SEQ one. So I think there'll end up being some more independent players in the scene. And it'll be maybe a little bit smaller, like the PTAA here in New South Wales generally does one every year. There might be some smaller grassroots conventions, but I think there will always be room for your large scale convention that is, has the power to promote it, use the bigger venues and get the bigger crowds, that sort of thing. So improvement is hard to say because we're not on an even playing field. We don't know what's going to happen. So I think we have to wait for the dust to settle and see who's actually going to come through and put their hand up and put their money where their mouth is and invest in something. But I hope it carries on and builds from where we're at and diversifies. So, and you, MJ, I
Yeah,
know you've got some views.
I have views. That was a big
Yeah.
part of my lockdown. I'm pretty vocal about um, my displeasure with the current sort of convention scene in Australia. The Southeast Queensland one looked like it was going to be epic, so I'm bummed that isn't going ahead. I feel like, in general, the convention scene in Australia isn't about tattooing anymore. It's
Mm.
about profiting from tattooing without being about tattooing and benefiting tattooing. Um, so yeah, fuck that guy. But the New Zealand one, New Plymouth, I'm doing that for the first time in November, hopefully.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and I'm super excited. I've only heard great things in terms of, it's they create a much better environment for the people working, bigger booths, cheaper booths.
Yep.
The
Yep.
sponsors provide just little free things. It's just like little things like that
Yeah.
where it sort of incentivizes tattooers to want to do it and to network. And the first day,
Yep.
everyone's just sort of going around meeting each other and hanging out. And then the convention only runs open to the public for 2 days or something. But
Yep.
It's definitely more about tattooing and benefiting that and networking and stuff and less about
Yep.
Monster Energy drink and strippers breathing fire, you know.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's also, and by the way, we've got 5 minutes left, so I might just sort of
Okay.
try and round up a few things. Yeah, it is, and it's like I think, like I went to Damien Wickham did one from Ink Attack quite a few years ago now, maybe 3-4 years ago up on the Sunshine Coast. Me and Benji worked it. We were next to like Jack Rudy and Little Mick. It was amazing. Like every
Unreal.
day you'd get some beer tokens and you get a free pub meal. It was like old school style. And like, you know, I've been
Yeah.
around long enough to do all the old PTA conventions. They were just a bit more closer knit and family orientated. But, you know, that's progress as well and all the rest of it. So, you know, who knows where tattooing is going to go and where the convention scene will. I just hope that there continues to be conventions and, you know, all the event companies don't go broke and we're fucked and we have nothing.
Yeah.
We can't even go overseas to go to anything. So, you know, just you know, events in general, and then it's up to everyone's choice whether they want to attend or go or not. So
Yeah.
with 3 minutes to go, so future plans for yourself, has it, I know you're getting your New South Wales license. That's obviously to come and work at Little Tokyo full time.
Forever trying. I reapplied for my
Mate,
license
you
in
got it.
April. And I'm still
Yep.
waiting. So as
Nice.
soon as it comes through and as soon as everything opens up, I'll be back. I'll do a decent stint. I'll come for a few weeks, for sure.
What, a few months? Sorry, you broke up there.
I think I stuttered. Yeah, and New Zealand
Okay.
end of the year. I think at the moment it's about, you know, trying to not plan too far ahead, if anything, and then just trying to make the most of at the moment and just really get to work. So I'm trying not to plan too much, but as soon as I can, I'll be back tattooing in Sydney, Wollongong, Wagga Wagga, whatever I can.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's, you know, like maybe people are starting or are learning to appreciate the simpler things a bit more or more localized things, you know, always, you know, all the glitter isn't gold. Like you don't have to go to the other side of the world to go to a big convention to be surrounded or inspired by amazing artists. We've got so many here in Australia.
Yep.
You know, and like you're saying with the internet and Instagram, you're saying you hit up that guy about painting tips. You know, as an older guy now, I love the fact that, you know, the information exchange is so free. So it's good. I'm going to try and do a few more quick little comments here. I've got Born.Guilty says, cop the Stubbs Forrest paint. Got it hanging up at work right now. What else have we got? Whoa, MJ. We are back to Banana Cam. Yep.
Yeah, the last time I did this, I had my phone propped up with a bunch of bananas.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard. There's a lot of comments. I won't read through them all, but thank you so much for them. Thanks, MJ. I appreciate your time, and thanks for doing this merch that you did for Little Tokyo in lockdown, and the Bob Wood book. It was cool, man. And we'll have to talk about some other projects. Well, I'll talk about them while I've got fuck all to do, and you can wait for your next break.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yeah.
And,
any final words? Yeah.
I just hope everyone gets through lockdown all right. And I hope it's productive, and I hope everyone uses it to their advantage.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, and just roll from there.
Cool.
Do you want to sign out now, or do you want me to?
I don't even know, man. I'll do it. Thank you. I love you. Yeah. And have a good one, man.
Cool. All right, I'm going to go. So quickly before we go, I'm going to keep talking. So on 4th of July, which is Sunday night. Oh, got done. There we go. Oh, he's gone. So I think 4th of July, Sunday night, I'm going to do another one of these with Joe Kins from Whistler Street Tattoo. We're going to talk about Joe's career. He's got a really interesting career. His father was a tattoo artist. He served in both the American and Australian military. He's a great tattooer, but also he has, I just want to show you my son. He's also, this is George, my boy. So he has also apprenticed some, and probably apprenticed the most of Sydney's most amazing tattoo artists, like to name a few: Cade Mack, Jimmy May, Ali, Sam Clark, the list goes on. So we're going to talk about apprentices, you know, Joe's distinct ornamental geometric styles as well. So we'll put up a post about that, and we'll talk to him on Sunday night. So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you all then. Thanks, bye. Turn that off.